Hello, good morning. Okay, welcome back to our CSCI 452 malware analysis. Okay, for the currently at the last of our lab, so we will going to go through all the rest of the file, and I will show you all the contents and then what kind of information we were looking to search. Okay, so pretty just applying everything we learned, or also showing you something new a little bit. But for the rest of the lab, and I'm not requesting you to do the assignment. So if you have a spare time, I know you may be busy working on your maybe assignments, a project, or maybe even later the subjects. Okay, so as a currently a last part, so we have pretty a lot, so I'm going to cover, but all the basic information, so you can just watch it later, and then if you want to follow, and then um go to um, the folder you download the PMAN lab. Okay, and as the starting beginning, as what I say, so as the first one we're going to see is the documents. So if you let me go back to the copy of the VM. This one is a new copy. Okay, network. Okay. The labs we are using later as a first one. So as a first one is the called phishing. So will be the Mac document. So including the Excel file and then the Word file. And as well know for these files let's unzip it. Okay, so before, because I think this one is the new copy, then make sure I turn off the detection. Okay. Okay, so right here, let me turn off. But here, even my VM on this part, you see it's real. Even I turn off, but it will still block the some connection. So let me see. What you need to do, just unzip all the files, and as usual, if you remember, we can use our basic static analysis. If you know how can output the message. Go back there. Here, so we have the Excel file, and then we have the documents. So when you look at all these files in the um, previous like all these access, we mainly looking at the exe, the executable files, okay, on Windows, okay. But actually, for the virus or any files that actually they can attach like in any format. So no matter you just look at some maybe right here, so maybe some Office document, like let's say a Word file, Excel file, or even sometimes we have a photo like JPEG file, PNG file. So they are all possible being encrypted. So especially the reason right here for the Word file or Excel file, all those Office, like including they can inject with them like some of the VBS, okay, and also they have XML format. So there's a more like possibilities like for the attacker like to create a malware or injecting some malicious code, okay, into it. So when we unzip all these three files, and maybe I just use the of course, if you remember, when we do that, we can use the string output using the false to output some string. We need to search. For this one, I just use the cutter. Let's just quickly show you something. Go to the desktop. So let's see, start from this one and then. So if we look at the document DOCM right here, the format. So after you download it, you just right here you can use any format. Maybe if you remember, we did it as a static analysis. With basically what we upload to private total. Okay, and of course, and then we try to output all the different type of hash, like MT5 hash one to 56. Okay, so all these, and then also we can use the command line like files to output what's this file. So you will see if like for the let's say the book report, the DOCM right here. So it will telling is for the like Microsoft Word, like for the 2007 upper version, and then it may contain some we call it VBA, if you remember the VBA or macros. Actually when you use the Word, you will always see all these there's this content. Okay, and also you can unzip it to output as a batch of files. So including some like XML, so like maybe some document XML and then footnotes and notes right here. But the VBA, so mainly is the VBA. So they create a VBA data right here setting. So that's our purpose. And of course, let's look at the first one. So, okay. If you remember, even I used the cutter to open the Excel file, but as you know, because we're using cutter for this file, it's different from the executable. Okay, so we cannot really see like what's the entry point or anything, but right here, so we will try to get the basic information. So try to match it with like always the first step. Okay, check for the some like basic information. I just use cutter. Okay, to do that, and then of course for other file format, no matter it's like even the PPT, the PowerPoint format. So you can also try to unzip it and output as like multiple files. So let's Scarlet. Okay, so all these steps will be similar. So like as we say, like as a first step, before I already using Cutter to open the Excel file, but and this time will be the DOC. Okay, so let me open one more time. Okay, so what the content is like right here we're looking for. So mainly is the hash, like output as a first step, like what's the hash right here. So we try to like keep it. And if you upload to the virus total, if you remember, like long time ago we did like we still keep the internet connection, so you can upload to the virus total. Maybe in the current version you already like already turn off the network, then maybe hard to do that, but you can still use the software or like string or like the false, all these um, to output the string. Okay, so we'll get this hash. Okay, so the display, and let me move this mouse right here. Okay, so if you like still remember for the tooth, we do have a false like to output. Okay, and of course you can look at other structure. We have the PV studio. And then maybe we can use the first one as the DOCM right here. Okay. And the contents, and if we remember, like when we use the string to output all this content, we always try to looking for some maybe some value or strings, like put it here and then SS. Okay, so we'll looking for something about this, okay, related to, okay, and then uh one from the virus total, okay, connection. But this one I already disconnected. Okay, so that's why you can see it. And the thing right here and the indicator. Okay. And this one is the P Studio or the P Viewer. So if we remember, we also cover like using this software. Okay, this application to search it. Of course, you can also use this one to get some basic information. And actually, they are all the same. So including the word, and I will open. Copy and have it, but it's an XML file. And when you look at the strings output, so mainly it contains like all these like folders. So if you see when we try to unzip it, okay, so you will see some like files contain. So mainly will be right here, including all these like the XML file, okay, and including the style file, the setting or like printer settings, all these maybe right here, when you scroll down or see the output, they're not so many because they're like packed together. Okay, and next step. Let me see if I can. Let's try to. Just open first, okay, and you see all the content. And so after you output like unzip it, of course, like if you have 7-zip and you can use any method to unzip the file. So there's a kind of like with basic steps to unzip the file if you have a understanding related to some like work files. You know, actually, no matter it's a Word file, Excel files, or PowerPoint, okay, all this format actually when you unzip it, okay, so you can output some like subfolders and other files related to this Word file or the Excel file or PowerPoint files. Okay, sometimes they only contain the structured data. Okay, and let me check right here. So after you able to switch it, so you're able to see all this content. This one is like running on the command line, so it output the tree structure. So of all the like content we did that, and let's like match it. Just make it smaller. Okay, and just switch it back to the screen. Okay, right here. Okay. So once you output, so you will see the tree structure as in the beginning. So the work files, the work files, and then the document property right here, mainly like under the work file. So you will see all this content. Okay, so theme. So there's everything contains right here. And this one I using the VM showing you like open it so manually. Okay, of course you can use the terminal to like exhibit. And then if like we try to look at this one, so this one show the output is the VB project dot bin. Okay, so it's the bin file. So maybe I will use the control. So of course you can follow the example from the like follow this one to output it, but I will use the other two, then we can compare and select it. And we have a book report. We are going to the VBA project pin right here. That's we're going to search. Okay. And when you output, then you can like compare always like the files like we can check the hash like always the same. And because it have a string function and then it can output all the content right here. So you can use any method like you will see and find more contents and details. Okay. Instead of using, so when you open the work file, okay, using the you maybe find the content from the using the false or string function, then it may not contain that many. But this time when we look at the VBA, so if you know the VBA is one of the function provided by Word or even Excel, okay, so we can like inject some code. So okay, so that's what we curious about. Okay, so right here, so maybe there's some like macro, so it combine all these like binary format and also the some Excel like we did the file. So that's what we interested to search. Okay, so right here, and you see like some extension it contains, so it's the related to the bin file. So it telling you, okay, it's some like macro files right here, and also the like content type. Okay, when you try to output and see the um, this like bin file, okay, but this one I just like showing you the what's the output string. Okay, it's contained that. Okay, and so there's something we are more interested. Okay, and there are more other information contain maybe the content including there is application like BDN, MS Office, VBA project, or the documents macro enabled. So if you remember, like sometimes they will try to enable the macro, or you will find the information that patch name, so they will access to the VBA data. Okay, and also maybe they allow to the workflow like data when they open it. Okay, all this. There's a one more. Okay, so there only the OLED. So right here is another application it can use. So it can output all the bunch information you see, including the like file formats, most the containers under the open XML. Okay, so like this is encrypted. Also yes, and it will show like okay, it contains the VBA macros and then tell it's suspicious. Okay, so it will give you like what's the risk, how high it may be contain some like VBA macros, and those that suspicious were found. So it will tell you, okay, some of the scan it. Okay, so you can download it. So also you can use the OLED dumb. Okay, those are, and then you can use this one and output all this content project and then project WM and then some like VB related and other scripts. Okay, and After you output the bin file, the VBA project bin file, then you can see more the contents of this, like maybe the macros. Okay, but mainly is more likely is the hex file. Okay, so you'll see. And if you want to get some decompressed, like some version of macro that are embedded file, then you can pass the DOCM, okay, with the parameters. So after you get it, then you can see like more content right here. So let me enlarge it. Okay. I'll upload this like to the tutorial so you can follow and if you want to see. Okay. And then just like telling you all these like files and we are going to search for mainly some like auto execute. So it will tell you, okay, so maybe some subspace operation or there's some keywords. So you can see right here. So even I look at the string output, so I just try to match it, and it may go into like open a certain file and then try to like open the shell, save the files. Okay. And mainly sometimes we connect to the XML HTTP. So it try to download the files. Okay. So have a connection. So when you see it always an internet connection that we need to pay attention with. Like even when we do the basic static analysis, that's we going to search. Okay, so does it have a internet open or like try to connect to some internet? Okay, so it's a pretty similar idea. And then when we writing report, okay, if you know like writing a report, we just like try to screenshot all this step and HTTP. If you see the XML HTTP. So we just like compile all these like information content. So it giving us some like clue or hints, okay, to know, okay, what they are actually doing, okay. And for this one, like we are going to use and mainly just like when we try to extract the macro, and you will see all these like content and just letting you know when we try to output that is the Microsoft XML. Okay, and then there's some like string. So if you able to see XML and when you try to match it, okay, there's a string 2, 3, okay, and try to get, okay, and then the wonderful financial local right here and try to get the CRT. So when you see like output even that have a open send, okay, and this they try to connect it and then create another files. Okay, so all this you will match. So no matter which type of tool you are using, we are always able to get this content. Okay, so we're going to like try to grab it, have an internet connection. But of course, right now, once we don't have an internet connection, you won't receive any content. Okay, and this one is the one example. Then you can use the same steps. Let me close it. So not only the bow, but also you can try to unzip it using it. Okay, so you can use a expressor, you can use a 7-zip to unzip it, and then you will get it Excel file. Okay, so Excel file and then we have the same like VBA project.bin. Okay, so we're doing repeat this step. Okay, so when we open another one, so this are Excel file. Of course, in this moment we are not doing the dynamic analysis. But it will be saying that you have to remember you need to use the INSIM, let's have the network connection, and then maybe you can open the browser. Okay, so we can use the Postmon. Okay, or the process hacker to open it. So we can examine it. Also later we can use the debugger like to observe like when we open the file, then what kind of operation like or like what they doing like in dynamically. Okay, so right here we also going to search some interesting, so something like the HSS, the CMD, and also it will doing the same access XML HTTP. Okay, you try to access like this. So once you see something related to the HTML like open, okay, and if they are going to like open right, okay, all these are safe, then they are pretty malicious function, and then when you see some files they're going to create, so it potentially there's like all these malicious no matter what file we be, so it will some actions of decode the system W0064 bit right here. So you see it tries to execute the CMD and then decode. And also it's the under, so you see this um Excel file. So VB, so you see it try to like access to the IP address. Okay, point 8080 and then just to get that like B64 CRT. So you see pretty similar. So once you realize that like all these fail the malicious files, okay, so they always have pretty common behavior. Okay, so they are going to like compare different with the maybe other executable. So they will detect the file, and then once they there's no we call the no internet connection. Sometimes if you remember, we can self-check like if you execute is running on the debugger or like on the VM. So if they know they're not going to execute for but for the VBA in the Excel file, that maybe they're not really detecting, but they will try to access, like connect to the internet and then download some files. Okay, so sometimes they write the files so encoded like um and dash PS1 ICRT and save the files, and then later they would just like run this decode file and then put it to the Windows systems or 64. So what will be right here. So if you need to like writing a report or like so try to observe some malicious behavior, then you can make a screenshot of this part. Okay, so we can tell, okay, so maybe it will be right here. And so they are all the same. So you can like unsave it. Okay, so it will be going to be covered in this part. So just like as what we say, so they're looking for all this content. Okay, and they're pretty similar. So all this like content you can output and repeat all these steps, no matter the even the workx. Okay, right here. So you can obtain all this content. Okay, so pretty similar steps. Okay, so we can get all this information. And after we scan on this part, then we would like to look at another file. So it will be another one is the what the shell. Okay, so this one is the another file format. So it's the shell file. So let's open it. Okay. Okay, so we have two files like from memories. Okay, so there's a if you remember, we also have a dropper. Okay, so this time let me see it. Okay, so okay, so there's some information with me. So we're going to search the information right here. So just remember this one is like for the quote from the text. So it's like it's the Java updater. So this one. Okay, and then we have another one is from the dropper. Let me go back. The code from memory. So right here. So this will be the two files. Um, we always like using the static analysis because we try to give us some hints. Okay, so we um, want to see, okay, what kind of content we will like potentially we have to search for, especially in the dynamic analysis. When we let me open the file and let's say for the job right here, okay, desktop. Okay. Because sometimes we giving you code unknown, but of course when you open any other files, you will you will not able to see like what this dimension is like actually doing. Okay, but this one is a download and run exe. So let's go back to dashboard. Like always, the first step getting the hash. Okay, so just like what we try to do. As a step one, we always, but for this one, we were looking for some for the shellcode analysis. So they were maybe using using and then some like import some libraries. Okay, and that's a class like and then like memory we're using a Java update. Okay, and maybe there's some byte binary array. So they try to host. So with the shellcode mainly we have to search is some like hex value. So maybe directly interpreted by the CPU and there's some like instructions, okay, and maybe showing some denoting, just like there's some keywords and some like postfix, okay. So like this for the actual instruction, including the like FCE8. So they are those like we did the postfix telling the actual instruction. Also, maybe just need to know those the shell code will have some known that position in the independence like code, so PIC. Okay, so also maybe it try to initialize some virtual memory for the shell code and then push the shell code into the memory. So it's going to do, and so you need to know like we talk the PIC or a PIE if you remember the one called the position independence executable. Okay, so just like tell me, so it's the really the main body of the machine code. Okay, so you need to know, and for the position independence code. Okay, independent code. So the PIC, so they can execute any memory address without any modification. Just like you need to be careful and here's the mainly content. Okay, so you will see the Java updater and then the void function, right? It's a Java and contain a byte. It's a bit okay. So these are all the opcodes that contain. If you remember F8, okay, ending. So all these and this we need to search about, and also they will try to copy it and then call okay copy and then you try to looking for the IP, so you know the virtual potent address, okay, virtual address, and then we using the Windows 8 API to access the virtual free. So this one is the on the memory, so we can go to access. So and then it also have a code. It's literally open a file, so it's the shellcode.txt and try to like in the read mode, okay, and try to decode it and then replace it. All these when they try to read it, so they replace it for the hash, okay, showing okay, and also the bin file for the viewer and then write the encode file, so it can change to all this. So once you see the output, so they will doing like just like come once they repeat all those like hex files, so we contain like this. This one there's another application we call the shellcode debugger. So as CD, okay, so it's a shellcode debugger to look at the bin file. Also, it will give you some output. So it tries to load the library, so the WinINet, okay, for the internet connection. And once they have a connection, then they will perform really basic. If they go to the so we can that's what we're going to search the URL content, and then what kind of files they try to create. So they will create the Java update exe. So, and then they may be going to execute it, so they run it, and then later after they finish, then they will maybe, this one including the called the exit process. So it's going to right here to separate the thread, so they can maybe create another thread to start the another action. Okay, so maybe download the file, execute it, and once they complete, they will close it. So here's the behavior right here. And you can compare all this part, and let's see if we are able to find all these time malicious code. Okay, so let's go back to our content. That's what we see. Because this one is the dropper, so you see we have the engine point, and sometimes we have the. Sometimes let's see if I can file. Sometimes just the input. Okay, so let's go back to string. Okay, so this one is running under the docs mode, and we just like we'll right here compare with the Excel file. It will like much longer. Okay, and or you have to unzip it and open a file, then you will see other content. And right here, that's what we interested. Maybe we want to search for some. Because right now you already see able to get all the hints right here. So we are going to search for maybe some what's the domain. Okay, and then some like malicious API call, API call. So that's we need to see. So maybe they have an internet open connect. Okay, create files. Um, but this one I'm using just using a cutter, okay, to show you what kind of content we maybe going to scan, okay, and of course we're going to like grab some information. So let's scroll down. So when once you are doing the same steps, then kind of like this. Of course, we can use the other like if using string or like fonts to output, then we can try to search all this content. Okay. Because not going to go through all this so long. Maybe I using the filter. Okay. So maybe first cannot copy because it's under. Go back assembly output. So maybe it will be easier to search it. For some like one memory create remote thread. Okay, right here. And okay. Because this one is the dropper, not the Java update, so that's why it's not the same. Okay, and open process, and that's what the content we're going to check, and then also we have the virtual virtual allocation right here. Because this one is the downloader, so download and run exe. So far, this one is not different. So we create the remote thread, okay, right here. So after they will close it with the close handle. Okay, and then they will run the call the one time, okay, one time blocker. So they try to execute it and then try to getting the MSV. Okay, so search, okay, CRT and then dot detail. Okay, so right here will be the content, and also we try to access the kernel. Okay, so all this, let's go to the compiler. The compiler is just a really straight format. Okay, so that's all we're going to read, and that's it in this part. Okay, let's go to, Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's open another file. So this one will be the updated. Let me open a new Windows. Okay, and open a new one. So because we already opened the one and then we have Java update. Okay, so let's open the Java update. Open the dashboard, like always the step one, we always say saving the hash, right? So saving the hash. And right here, for the string, you will see mainly in the code, so it will store all this information. You will see all the hex operation. So right here it all contains. So you will see like mainly the contents right here, and then I go to December, and so when we goes down, then that's what we interested. That's like what we say right here. We try to find some like some keywords and some like content, including so which URL going to access and some like what the files they're going to create. So right here, and maybe for the bigger files, right, would be better to look at it. Also like the graph mode. So you see more complicated graph mode right here. Okay. And that's the maximum we can get from the cutter. And if for more details, then we have to use another way to show it will be the shell code. Okay. Because this one you'll see because it's for the shell code. Okay. Debugger and output. And that's like what we can open. So far it's pretty straightforward. Like we just using different type of tools to go through these all files. Okay, so this one will be the second one. Okay, so we're going to check, and let me close this one. Okay, and but the another file, the dropper and one exe. So this one is pretty straightforward file. So you will easy to read it. But another one is the Java. Java one, we need to use the because the shellcode, so we need to use it to output it. So we will use the another debugger, shellcode debugger. So you may not have it, but if you go back to okay. If you have not installed it, then you can install it later and check it. Okay, but if no, then you can do it later. Okay, and next one. We also have the another one for the memory, but we can like use it and check it. Okay, and then the last part we can open is, let me close it, and we can open the lab. So after we look at the like phishing and then the shellcode, also we can the off script. So the last one is the off script, like including the PowerShell right here, and then we have the VBS script. Okay, so right here, and the HTA right here. Okay, maybe I will because for the later in the code right here, let me open and just like before we start, then we just went through all this content. So actually pretty similar. Okay. So as a first step, we always output the hash. Okay, so you will be pretty familiar with it. And this one, we're looking for the PowerShell script. Okay, so if we look at the script in the text editor or open it, let me unzip it. I'm going to open another file later. So as you remember that sometimes we have it, okay, and have this one PS1, okay, so it's the file. So in the text editor, so is some basic information, maybe some word string right here. We put there a lot. Okay. So when we look at it, there are some like important strings or like keyword we have to read it. So maybe some like what's the IEX. So involve the like involve expression. So maybe they want the string, so passing return a result. And then what is the compare sections like this. So provide some method property to compressing the stream and then decompressing it, or sometimes like decode it, okay, to the base like 64, and some maybe read it, okay, and then maybe based on which base the base 64, and then decompress it. And also they try to convert to the like ASCII characters data and then read it until it's done. So it's like some source code we can analyze the script. Okay, so right here all these like function. Okay, so you will able to see once you open it. Will be not changing this format, then I just use the same using the cutter and open it. Okay, so as a first step, the hash, and here's the content. If you it's the output, so it's the ASCII, and then but of course, like when we using others, then we can see more. But it mainly follow the instruction, so it's like keep pushing the data. So we have the better to look at the script right here as a string output. Right here, the string output. Okay, and then so go for our more advanced dynamic analysis, then we will we're curious about like how they really work on the memory and register. Okay, but for this part we have just like quickly go through all these files. So that's why we just like telling you, okay, what is the file doing, and then if you're interested more, then you can look at some more advanced dynamic analysis. So all right here, we just like giving all the screenshots. Okay, so we're telling you, okay, so what is the encoding? So they may be after they finish SD part, they maybe remove the IEX, say they will assign the rest of script to the variables. So maybe there's a script and then get a new object like this. Okay, loading from the Steam. Okay, so stream right here, and from the base 64 string. So you see all these like keywords. So just all the screenshot right here. Okay. And then when you get it, so this one you can use the script and then output this content. So this one is calling out, so you can find all the content of script observed. So they are, because they are basically they are encoded this string to the base 64. So this one is actually it's just a PowerShell based on the reverse TCP script. So you can just find it. So waiting for it. So it after that it can just successfully like be invoked by the IEX. Okay, and then run it on the system. So this I was doing. And if you see there's a different way to output all this script. So it's like mainly look at this part. So you see like way to write it. Okay, so with the buffer and save it. And of course we can encode it. Okay, and also for the content right here, so maybe just mainly, so we just invoke expression, okay, command right here, output and catch it. So all these, like once the script invoke, then it will just like make a request to listening server. So in the IP, so right here it may be like given was the IP address and port, and those like port. So this one is the mainly, you know, the PowerShell on the Windows. Okay, so it will able to be, and then it will convert it, and just keep going down right here, more contents right here, and just to compare because it tries to read the buffer and the ASCII encoding, and try to with the exception. If you think it's too big, then let me slow it smaller. Okay, so here will be the all the contents like for the this script. And then we have the dropper like VBS script, and when you look at it, and it do have other files like VBS, and then like one shot, two shot. So this like all the hash. So when we try to look at it, so always we can use any test data like to open it as the to check the content. So it's a basic SIM, and then we try to access to the shell, okay, exe, and when we load it, so it may be decode the certificate and then pushing it to the VB scripts. Okay, so in the folder, and next part they will try to decode it. So you see they using a decoder certificate and then pushing to the XML files, save it to XML file under your public document directory. And then after that, so they will try to execute, okay, this file. Okay, so to run this script. Because this one we are using, they are based on base 64 command to decode it, so it's not the same. Once we able to extract those like VB code, so we see including the update, getting some like variables, okay, some obfuscate so data, okay, or like including some like something to do, okay, passing those like to the variables, and what was the concept object they're going to obtain, and also maybe when they really need to execute the shell, so they will load and initializing all this object. Okay, so this is like all the information we go into like search, and we see like there is some like garbage value because it doesn't matter for this one, they just assign, but we are more like interested about like when they try to replace it, so there's some content, so they will remove some just a meaningless string, and then after they clean it, then you have some like final code, and just like mainly they will have some like access to the Microsoft framework, and then access to the public documents XML. So all this will be like much more like interesting. We are like care about it, so we are looking for some like right here the MS build exe. So the XML files we are interested. So this one we generate after they decode everything. Okay, and then also they have other like CRT, the certificate files, so we can output as the same. Just like so, I just jump through all these screenshot. You see all these will be the text file will be the instruction. So you see the shell code. So that's why like if you combine all the shell code right here. Okay, and then after we put all the previous steps, then you will be able to get all these like function the hash value. Okay, after we place it, so what they're going to do, so they will maybe like try to remove desktop and then add another WD admin, and also get the administrator permission. Okay, then later they will access to the like the local machine, the host like current control set to like that, then to grant it, and then later we'll work on the firewall. So all this, and of course like after they if you mainly focus certain content, then you will see. So they will try to work on the CMD. Okay, the local group remote desktop. So they will edit, and also the getting the administrator right to the local group. Okay, so we edit the virtual file. So it allows, so mainly here would be the um allowing the remote desktop. Okay, also we work on the firewall rules. So we allow the port. So the remote desktop port will be 3389. So it will be the beginning. It will be the RDP, the remote desktop port. Okay, so if you see something the port using, so you see right here. So if you being injected, and then it try to edit your virtual files, and also they try to getting some like administrator rules, and then open the port, then you see, okay, this will happen. And that's going to use, and then later they have ms build exe, so they will use the XML file to follow all this the instruction. So the calculate last part, let's go back to push it, open new one. So here will be the certificate, if you know, so we can I'm going to unzip all these files. Okay, so here's all the unzip file, and let's open it with, maybe I can use the test. Okay. So right here you will see in the VB, so it's the getting the cert. Okay, so it will try to if you remember the cert utility code, so there's a two certs right here. Okay, XML under the public DMC XML, so right here, and I'll open the certificate too. Okay, so it's the all the hex files. Okay, it's really hard to read, but if you remember when we try to remove and replace it, and you can get some information. All the like yes, we get a final shell code. So for the shell code, slightly not the same, but we are going to search it later. Okay, and then let's go back to our house. One more, then we can use the cutter to show all these files. So for the first one, I would like to open the job. We go to our new files. So right here we need to output it as a order string, but this time we just using a script or string. So it just like quickly telling you. So as a first step, we're always looking for the hash. Okay, and then mainly we need to output all this string and convert it, but this time we just more in like convert all the string together, so it will be like hard to read it. But we have other form way like to check it, so you can use it. Then we can search it later, and then let's open a new Windows. Okay, so it's very interested about the shell file. See. Okay, okay, right here. So open it. So always compare the hash and make sure it's the same one. And where all the content they're compressing under string. So we need to like open it and using other text editor. So I can use this one. Yes. But I need to change. Let me change the extension. Okay. I'm opening it. Let me close the cutter. It's pretty long, so you can open it in the different way. So this one like telling what the data stream, okay, what's the PowerShell it's going to use. With the limited time, because we try to like show you all the contents. So just like follow all this information. This is what we are able to obtain, and that's what we're going to find like in this part, like for the analysis. So you'll see for today's like the files. So we will start from the there's some office file, VBA, and then sometimes we have the script files. Okay, so all these they have pretty similar behavior or like for the shellcode. Okay, so if you remember for our part two, we have the part two for the shellcode right here. So it's like no matter the Java update, it's just the shellcode because I'm not showing you demos, but you will see they will try to be so mainly is the hex code. So if we remove all those like the operate the hex like still X right here, and then they all this will be instruction or something like ending with the F0 or H2. So this they're going to do, and then they will try to create the virtual memory and then start a new thread, okay, to execute it. So that's what we're going to obtain. And this all the like hints that we can help or like when we doing the string output. So we already able to grab like certain information. Okay, of course, like we have to like search, investigate, and dive deeper to looking all like each files. Then you can obtain all this information. So mainly you have to like search for maybe some internet connection. So no matter in the shellcode or the third one is like connect to the getting some certificates. Okay, and then so those like certificates they will of course like they are like encrypted like something like bix 64 or right here you will able to get some directory. Okay, what the folders. Okay, so what's the script? So the best script right here for the shell. So actually, if we look into all this like the VPS like, script right here, then it will already give us some hints. Okay, and then we'll know. Okay, so we know which location directory. So we should search for. Okay, and just like quickly, I think it's almost the time. So we will end this session right here, and for the next one will be a last part. So we'll be doing kind of similar. So I just like quickly went through all these like basic statistic analysis and just showing you what the content we have to search for. Actually, for the rest, like for the dynamic analysis, or when we do the advanced, like when we look at um the actually what they are doing, okay, or like running execute as a debugger. Okay, so that's like all the content. So right here what the directory we have to search for, and so far that's it. And if see any questions. Okay, yeah, I see if you're working. It's okay because I understood. Okay, because um, um, because I'm sorry for one thing because our limited time, so I know try your best to fix it or like based what you have, or if you can have another computer as well as say if other computer running because like for the especially for the mail analysis we highly and depends on the VM because I don't want to infect yours unless you have another machine like really isolated because I don't want to have a like your physical machine connect to the internet and being infected because it will really kind of harmful okay to other devices too. Okay, so try your best to create another VM okay and run it and try your best just run it because at least you show your work for your work. um we can discuss it okay so okay so you can show me later like we can set another meeting if you need my help or like you can just or like try your best like based on the resources what you have and then try to run it okay and we can meet later if you need extra time, but it will be totally fine. So if you let me know your situation and I totally understood. So um, for the time or like I will try my best to give you extension if you have difficulty because it happened to me too. So maybe some like VM issue, some like hardware issue. So I understood especially for this course like it's highly rely on practical and for the different version. So most of the time we just like spend most of our time to like debugging, fixing all these issues. So um I will try my best to give you extra times, okay, and then keep update me, okay, if you have any progress, okay. And if no other question, I think it's almost the time. Then I will just end this session and have a good one.
All right, thank you, Professor.
Okay, thank you.